morning and welcome to another episode of Ask the Healthcare Advocate live every Sunday morning between 8:30 and 9. Today we're talking about finding expert specialists, finding those private specialists that you want to see, an orthopedist who does knee surgery, very specific, I will say sports medicine doctor. And that's how I got to this topic because I was doing a search for a sports medicine specialist private doctor. And I thought, hey, I should share this with you guys because I get this question all the time as how can I find an expert specialist? So, of course, the easiest thing to do is to ask your friends, which people do. The second thing that I see people do is ask on Facebook, also a reasonable issue. Third is ask on a WhatsApp group, also always a good thing. But sometimes, A, you don't get a response, or B, you get a response about a doctor who you had a really bad experience with, or C, people don't know. Example, again, sports medicine doctor, not so common in a lot of our English-speaking circles. So then I realized that my search is maybe not what usually people do. So I'm going to go through very briefly how I find an expert specialist in the field that's specific when I don't have any experts. And then I will also post in the comments something called a loom, which is when my face superimposed on the screen so I can show you the different steps that you have to go through or can go through if you'd like. Plus, I'm going to put some links to other videos, other lectures that I've done, full-length lectures on the difference between a coupa specialist and a private specialist that you can see subsidized and a private specialist that you have to pay full price for those of you who might need to have more clarification on that. So to get started, what I do is the following. People who are up and coming in the field need to publish if they want to get out of their initial level of activity. So what do I mean by that? I mean a doctor who has become a specialist in a particular field and wants to להתקדם, he wants to continue in the field, to be promoted perhaps to a position of lecturer or to have some academic position, which will again make his level higher and make his expertise more recognized within his field, needs to publish. So the first thing that I do is go to something called PubMed, which is a reliable publishing source for, it's academically listed. That doesn't make any sense, but it's listed. It's listed so that you can see the articles. I type in the topic that I want to do, sports medicine and Israel. This could also be when I was looking for somebody who was a specialist in cardiomyopathy for young people. So I did cardiomyopathy and young and Israel. And then you get a list of articles. And here is helpful because you start looking, and sometimes you get also Beth Israel in Boston. Occasionally you have to weed those out. But you see usually a list of a small grouping of articles for people in those topics. And then you start to look for overlaps. So you look through the list and you do a research search. So you do it from 2017, 18, nothing before, nothing 5 years prior. So you see who's been active in the field now, and you go through and you see what names are repeating themselves. After you see what names you're repeating yourself, you click on that link, you click on the author affiliation, and you see where the author is located. Are they located in Haifa? Are they located in Tel Aviv? That's usually occasionally Jerusalem, occasionally Beersheba. And then also sometimes you see that they're affiliated with a university abroad, which means it doesn't help you right now because even though they're Israeli, they're right now abroad. But you click, you see where they are, and now you usually have a couple of names. So now you know that at least those people are out there, they're doing research in the field, so they definitely have some level of expertise in that. Then you go into, either you can type in directly into Google the name of the doctor, sometimes I do that, and then you see where they're affiliated. Often they're in Tel Aviv, so they're in a hospital setting, but not a private one, so you can't see them. But they'll have office hours somewhere else in Tel Aviv. So you can type their name in. Sometimes you can find their office hours. If you don't find their clinics, then you go into the site Doctorim, which is DOCTORIM, and you put in their name. And often you will see if they have clinics and in what areas. And now Dr. Lim is exciting. You can make it up appointment online. You can also see if they're affiliated with your kupa. So what does that mean? That means that you can type in Mu'kharid and you can see if they have a deal with Mu'kharid, so you can pay the subsidized rate. If you are desperate or you feel like you've got the financial flexibility, then you don't need to see the kupa. You can pay the full amount. So that is one way to find an expert. You can also take their name and put it into your kupa to see if it pops up through the kupa. That's also helpful. And you can see then the options. And then to put in a few names that you see in the articles and see what comes up in terms of, do they have their own website? Are you finding them in articles? Are they the head of a department in one of the hospitals? And then you can get a much better sense. But you can start from the research, and that can really give you a better sense, because you can also see who are the big people in the field who are making the decisions. It doesn't have to be the biggest in the field, because you do want somebody who's accessible. And I find sometimes these people who are very, very experienced, they might have an appointment like once every 6 months kind of thing. But that is definitely a good rule of thumb of how to start. So thank you so much for joining me. We're here every Sunday between 8:30 and 9, asking your healthcare and navigation questions. Feel free to post a comment, ask a question, and I will also try to post those things in the comments so that you guys can take a look. Thanks so much.